Okay, so today we're talking about piecewise functions. They're called piecewise because they're in separate pieces. They can be connected, but they're different lines. Each one is a little bit different. So we did look at this as three separate pieces. So I'm going to start with piece 1, and that's this one on the left. We have to write the equation of that line. To do that, we have to find m first. So we find our slope. We go up 3 and left 1. That means our slope is -3. Now to write the equation of a line, you need to know slope, and we need to know a point. So we're going to use this endpoint right here. That endpoint is -4, 3. I'm going to take those two pieces of information, I'm going to plug them into y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So y minus y1 means y minus 3, m is -3, x minus x1 means x plus 4, because negative makes the plus. Then I distribute that -3, and I add the 3 to both sides. So the equation of this line is y equals -3x minus 9. The way we write our answer is we write it in two separate pieces. We write the equation, and we write the domain for it. So this first section is -3x minus 9. I don't write the y equals, and I'll show you why in a second. The domain for that section, it starts when x is -4. And it goes to the left, which means all those x's are getting smaller. Now we have to look at that endpoint. Is it equal to -4? Yes, because it's because it's a closed circle. So the equation of that line is -3x minus 9, and it's for the x's that are less than or equal to -4. So that's just that section. Then we look at the next piece. This next piece is a horizontal line. Horizontal lines are always written in the form y equals a number. So in this case, y equals 1. So when I write my answer, I just put a 1, because again, I don't write the y equals part, and I have to do the domain. This time, I have two endpoints. It goes from here to here, so from -4 to 1. So my domain, I put -4 and -1. The x in the middle, less than and less than. They both are going to be less than because they're both open circles. Remember, open circle is just less than, closed is the less than or equal, or the greater than or equal, depending on the problem. So this last section, again, I'm going to find my slope. My slope, I go down 2 and over 1, so that means it's -2. This time my line crosses the y-axis, so I don't have to use the y minus y1. I can find my b. It's right there. b is also -2. So that equation's y equals -2x minus 2. So I come over here and I write the -2x minus 2. My domain starts at -1, and it goes to the right this time. Going to the right, all those x's are getting bigger, so it's greater than. It's a closed circle, so I put or equal to. The last thing we do is we group all those together with a big bracket, and we write f of x equals. F of x and y equals are the same thing. This is just the function notation. The bracket just groups all three of those together and our domains that go with it. Number 2 is the reverse. I'm giving the equation, you have to do the graph. So we break it into 3 pieces. We're going to start with this top piece. To graph these, we're going to make a table. Okay. So for the 2x minus 4, I'm going to make an x and y table. The first x value in your table has to be from your domain, so that -1 has to be first. Then I want the x's that are less than -1. So less than -1 would be -2 and -3, and I just do a couple of points. You don't need very many. Take the -1, plug it in. So 2 times -1 is -2, minus 4 is -6. 2 times -2 is -4, minus 4 is -8. 2 times -3 is -6, minus 4 is -10. Then we plot these points. But when I plot -1, -6, I have to remember, is that point open or closed? And it's open because it's not equal to, because it's just a less than, it's an open circle. Then I plot -2, -8, -3, -10, and I'm off my graph, but I'm just going to sketch my line in there, and I put an arrow at the end because it doesn't stop. So that's the first section of it. The second section is just negative 2 for the domain 0 is less than x is less than 4. When it's just a number, that means it's a horizontal line. So it's y equals negative 2. Y is negative 2 right there, from 0 to 4. 0 gets a closed circle because of the or equal. 4 just gets an open circle. Okay. The last section, again, we make a table. The number in your domain has to be your starting number. Now we need x's greater than or equal to that. So greater than 4 would be 5 and 6. We plug those in. 4 minus 4 is 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 4 is 2. When we plot this, 4, 0, this time it gets a closed circle because it says or equal to. Then 5, 1, and 6, 2. And I draw my line with my arrow because it doesn't stop. This last section is find the value of the function. So our function is negative x when x is between 0 and 4, and square root of x minus 3 when x is greater than or equal to 4. So I'm going to skip this f of negative 3 for a minute. F of 2 means find y when x equals 2. So I take this x equals 2 and I come up here and see which part of this it fits in. Does 2 fit between 0 and 4, or is 2 greater than or equal to 4? Well, we know 2 is between 0 and 4, so I plug it into this equation. So negative x means negative 2, and there's your answer. F of 7 means find y when x is 7. So 7, is 7 between 0 and 4, or is 7 greater than or equal to 4? Well, we know 7 is greater than or equal to 4, so I plug it into this equation. So square root of 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. Square root of 4 is 2. So I'm going to add a couple more. If we do f of 3. F of 3, is 3 between 0 and 4, or is 3 greater than or equal to 4? Well, it's between 0 and 4, so I plug it in here. F of 3 would then be negative 3. So f of 1. If I do f of 1, 1 is also between 0 and 4, so f of 1 would be negative 1. If I did f of 10, 10 is greater than or equal to 4, so I plug it in this bottom one. Square root of 10 minus 3. 10 minus 3 is 7, so we're just going to leave it as square root of 7. If I do f of 4, f of 4 is going to fit into this bottom one because it says or equal to. So that's where the 4 has to go in. So square root of 4 minus 3 would be square root of 1, which we know is 1. Now if I go back to this f of negative 3 that I skipped a minute ago, is negative 3 between 0 and 4? No. Is negative 3 greater than 4? No. So it doesn't fit in either of those, so we say that it's undefined. And it's undefined because it doesn't work in either of those. Okay, so it's undefined because that negative 3 doesn't work for either equation. It doesn't fit in either of those domains. So if I did f of negative 10, negative 10 is not between 0 and 4, and it's not greater than or equal to 4, so it's also undefined because it doesn't work. So anytime it doesn't work for either of those, your answer is undefined.